Happy Tuesday, folks, and welcome back to WrestleRant, where every single Tuesday I, Graham GS Matthews, break down all the pay-per-views that I watch on the WWE Network. And today we're talking In Your House 13 Final Four from February of 1997, the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania 13. So good show. Definitely one of the better In Your House pay-per-views. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I had never seen the main event before, and I'll talk about the main event momentarily, but it was really fucking good. I'll talk about it when I get to it, but It definitely made this show worth watching on the whole, in my opinion. But we kick off the show with Marc Mero taking on Leif Cassidy. In the same opening slot Leif Cassidy was at the previous In Your House, It's Time, In Your House 12, from December of 96. This was a good match as well. Marc Mero, like I've talked about, said several times, the guy was a lot of fun in the ring prior to his injury. He just wasn't the same after he got injured, character-wise, in the ring-wise, from an in-ring standpoint. Just was not the same guy that he was as a babyface before he got hurt. And even at this point, Sable was still slowly starting to take the spotlight away from Marc Mero. That would really kind of come to fruition once he got hurt and he was gone, and she would really come into her own as a singles star. But it was also evident here. I mean, he was also trying to plant the seeds for a heel turn. There were some subtle heel tactics in this match with like distracting Leif Cassidy and like kind of cheating, but not like overly cheating. So they were already kind of planting the seeds for a heel turn for Marc Mero before he got hurt, so, which I thought was interesting. But he still picked up the win here. Good opening match. After that, we had the Nation of Domination representing the Nation of Domination. It was Farouk, Savio Vega, and Crush taking on the trio of Bart Gunn, Flash Funk, and Goldust. What a cast of misfits, really, was that trio. So this was. It was a good match. It was an all right six-man tag team match. It really didn't mean anything. It was like an old school '97 Shield tag team match. Like what we would see from the Shield all the time with like the Nation of Domination. That's what we would get with the Shield. All those years later with like the 6-man and the 8-man tag team matches and shit like that. Except this really was not all that good. Gunn, Goldust, and Funk did not have all that strong of chemistry, and it wasn't a bad match, but it was like okay. The Nation of Domination in its early incarnation was not as strong as it would later become with The Rock at the helm. So they were still trying to find their footing, like way too many members too. There were a lot of guys that couldn't even name. I could not even tell you who they were. But this was all right. Nation of Domination scoring the victory as they should have. Rocky Maivia defending the Intercontinental Championship against Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And once again, the title changed hands on Raw. And that's happened with the past like 3 or 4 In Your House shows, where the IC title would change hands on Raw, and then they would do the rematch at the In Your House pay-per-view, so that was kind of weird. The match was good, shades of a future Rock versus Triple H match. They were still kind of working out their chemistry, and it says a lot that Triple H, Helmsley, whatever, successfully got himself over as a heel in this match and elicited heat from the crowd, considering the crowd was already starting to turn, the tides were already starting to turn against Rocky, because people fucking hated the whole babyface, happy-go-lucky gimmick that he had at that time when he first came into WWE in late 96, early 97. So it really speaks volumes that Helmsley was able to elicit heat and was able to turn the crowd against him and really in favor of Rocky, so that was good. But yeah, good match. Rocky won after interference from Goldust at ringside, so again, to further that feud heading into WrestleMania. And I think this might have marked the official debut of Chyna. She would come through the crowd, choke out Marlena, and then scurry off by security, get carried out by security. So I don't know if that was her debut appearance, her initial appearance in WWE on programming, but still a hell of a way to make her debut. And I know I've seen that clip before, but I forgot it was on this show, so that was pretty nice to set that in motion heading into WrestleMania to counteract Marlena in the corner of Goldust. And then for the tag team titles, we had Doug Furnas and Phil Lafon, I don't know how you pronounce it, taking on Owen Hart and British Bulldog, who are the then reigning WWE Tag Team Champions. And a surprisingly really good match. So the weird thing here was that tension was teased between Owen Hart and Bulldog. They would go at it several times. Throughout the matchup, they would attack each other. But then it came to a point where they would come together to defend the tag team titles. And in the end, they would come together to win the match. Or actually, they would lose via disqualification, even though British Bulldog had the match won. Owen Hart would intentionally get themselves disqualified. They would retain the titles, and then I think they would make up afterwards, leading to like a one-off match on Raw or something to crown like the first ever European champion. And then they would go their separate ways, join up with Bret Hart and the New Hart Foundation, and that was about it. So even though the crowd was like very much behind the Bulldog here to kind of set in motion a babyface turn, it would never come to be. But it was kind of cool to see those seeds planted in this match. But for two guys, I had no idea who they were. Furnas and LaFon, if that's how you pronounce their names. It was a pretty good match for two no-namers who I know weren't there for a long period of time. I've heard the names before. I just know they weren't there for very long. But the match was pretty good. They kept the titles on Owen Hart and Bulldog. And that was it, just the match that exceeded my expectations. And then the main event, the Final Four Corners elimination match for the vacant WWE title was Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and Vader. And the whole controversy stemming from the Royal Rumble. They were not the Final Four in the Rumble. I know fake Razor Ramon was in there too. And I don't know who wasn't of these four guys. But at any rate, it was a great fucking match. I know I've heard a lot about this match in the past. This was my first time watching it. All four guys played their roles wonderfully, especially Vader. But it wasn't your typical fatal four-way matchup. First of all, as they had said, it was elimination rules. And then secondly, you could also be eliminated by being tossed over the top rope, which is what happened with all three guys too. I think Vader was the first one gone, or rather, Stone Cold was the first one gone, then Vader, then Taker after help from Stone Cold Steve Austin, inadvertent help from Stone Cold that would set up Hart and Steve for WrestleMania. And Bret Hart would drop the championship the very next night anyway to Psycho Sid, so this was kind of a waste. But as a match, it was fucking great. All four guys were awesome here, especially Vader. How he didn't amount to more in WWE beyond this point is beyond me. But still, stemming from what happened at the Rumble, and not the botched finish, but what they would do with the controversy coming from Austin's victory, and how it was tainted with Hart, and then Vader and Taker, and they would set up Taker and Psycho Sid for WrestleMania, which it should have been Hart and Stone Cold, but that was still a good match too. But yeah, just a fantastic main event. Probably one of, if not the best in-your-house match up to this point. Definitely 4 stars, if not higher. I thought all four guys here were just fucking phenomenal. So that closed out In Your House 13 Final Four. Overall, pretty good show. Definitely one of the better In Your House pay-per-views. I would have to go back and I don't know, just check out the other cards for the shows. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this was a strong show. The main event was fucking fantastic. Like I said, the IC title match was also really good. Tag title match exceeded my expectations. The 6-man tag team match was all right, and the opener was decent too. So that's it. In Your House 13 Final Four. I forgot what the next one. I forgot what the next In Your House pay-per-view was. I know it comes after WrestleMania though, so it's In Your House 14. So I'll talk about that in the next video. But in the meantime, guys, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that support is greatly appreciated. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch you guys down the road.